cuatro, cinco, seis. I feel like we're supposed to like
Okay.
be like
Are
dance now.
you Spanish?
Am I Spanish?
No, were you counting in Spanish?
Yes. Sí.
Oh, I
Sí,
just
mi amor.
started after you stopped, I started doing it in Italian because I
Nice.
thought it sounds kind of similar. Okay.
Well, maybe I did speak Italian. I don't know. Isn't it almost the same counting in Spanish? And
It
I'm
sounds like the
sorry.
same. Uno. What do
Uno,
you
dos,
apologize?
tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. I think that's Italian. Quattro.
Yeah, uno,
Quattro
due, tre,
formaggi.
quattro,
That's
cinque, sei,
Italian. Mm.
sette, otto, nove, dieci, undici, dodici.
We're cultured. We don't even know what language we're
Diciassette,
speaking, but we're cultured.
diciotto. I'm counting in Italian. Diciannove, venti, ventiuno, ventidue.
Nice. I love
Mind
you.
you, this was primary. I swear, teaching children languages at such a young age is smart.
Yes.
I can't believe I remember it. Do you think that I've actually sat here and been learning how to count in Italian? No, that was from childhood.
Yes.
The prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, all of it is in alignment. It's working. It's spewing of beautiful memory and yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
brain.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you,
No,
brains.
you're actually right. I learned majority of my Italian as a kid.
Smart. It's really smart to teach
Yeah.
children young. I wish that I learnt more. I wish that I really did learn more.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes I actually sing it. There was a song, a particular song that I have sung on this podcast before that I remember from Italian class. And it just
Ooh.
hasn't gone away. Yeah.
There's a song. I'm gonna recommend it to you. If I only remember the name. It's from Tiziano Ferri. When I watch this episode back, I'm gonna be so mad. Tiziano is most definitely his first name. He has a duet
Yeah.
with Kelly Rowland. I almost said Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Rowland. Be Gentle, I think it's called. It's a beautiful song. Listen to it. It's Italian and a little bit of English. Beautiful.
I love Italian opera. I really do.
Yes. Pavarotti. Andrea Bocelli.
Oh, she's speaking my language.
Let's do a duet right now.
Oh, I mean, I might butcher Italian.
Say goodbye.
I don't know. I don't want to butcher Italian. His song, if you all have to listen to the song "I Believe" by Andrea Bocelli. If you need motivation in your life at whatever extent that goes, listen to that song because it's beautiful. It makes me feel a lot of things. I have a lot of feels when I put that song on.
Have you heard his duet with Catherine McPhee, The Prayer?
I pray you'll be. Oh, wait, no, is that Celine Dion?
Yes.
I was singing this.
Both.
Have you heard the Celine Dion one? I think I like that one a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah. I like the Celine Dion a lot more.
Okay. One thing. In times when we don't know.
And he's very. Are they Christian? No, is Andre Bocelli? No, he's Catholic. His family's Catholic, isn't it?
I would believe so, yeah, because they're Italian.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought to myself, oh, when I read the lyrics, I was like, okay, this is very religious, but it's still beautiful.
Yes. It's a song. There's so many beautiful and You know who? I'm gonna stop myself now because we're not gonna make this about music.
One more. Just give us one more. Just one more. We love music. One more.
I personally haven't looked into this person, but what happened to Josh Groban? Groban? Yes. What happened to Josh Groban? Because he was.
Who's
You
that?
don't know
Oh no! I did something.
Okay,
Wait, let me look him up. Let me look him up. I shall look him up. Are we still talking about Italian opera? Is that his?
It's not. He's not Italian. He's an operatic singer, though.
Oh, so Josh Groban?
Yes.
I found him.
He has a beautiful voice.
Oh, You Raise Me Up. Oh,
Yes. You raise me up so I can stand the mountain.
He's saying prayer. Is that the same as the other one?
Yes. He has a beautiful voice.
I just turned into the grunge. Oh, why can't I click on it? Let me click on it. Oh.
Welcome.
This is beautiful.
This is a reaction channel now of Ashley reacting to Josh Groban for the very first time.
His voice. Yeah. His voice. It's so similar.
Beautiful voice.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I have to say this. The movie When in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Not When in Rome. The movie Juliet. Letters to Juliet. Have you ever seen it? Right?
Yes.
Okay. We're talking about accents, right? The most attractive accents. I am okay to admit that Italian accents in certain, but there is still the energy behind it. But just the Italian accent in that movie, that's what this song just reminded me of. And when they both came together, I felt like I was in that real fantasy, beauty, romance of Italy in one of the gondolas, just riding down the river, and you hear the sunlight is behind, and then you hear the song playing. Thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. I think more music needs to be made like that. It is a joy. Yes.
Is he not singing? 2025 was his last. No, that was something else. Were you saying that he doesn't release songs anymore?
I haven't heard of him anymore, so I don't know if he's released any current albums. You can let me know because you're looking at it. But I haven't heard from him since the mid 2000s almost, or 2000 teens at this point.
Does social media, if you know?
Yes.
You know if he has social. Oh, he does have social media.
I have no idea. I barely have social media.
He posted on Instagram 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He is. Wait, is he in Australia?
Ooh. Guess this is going to a concert.
Australia. He's in Queensland.
No way.
Because he went to the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary in Queensland.
I mean, I feel like this is a sign. You need to go. If he has a concert there, you need to go.
He does. It's right. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
He performed in Sydney last night. No, 4 days ago. Yes. Melbourne, see you under the stars tonight. That I would have missed it, most likely.
You also missed Bad Bunny.
Yeah, he performed in Sydney. He didn't come to Melbourne.
He's coming.
Can you imagine? Wait, what?
He's coming to Melbourne, I believe. I think it's after Sydney. So probably probably Josh Groban, and then you can get down to Bad Bunny.
I swear he only went to Sydney because people from Melbourne traveled to Sydney.
Oh, I thought I saw him going to Melbourne as well as a tour date.
It was only in Sydney.
No, it's not. Yeah. You're right. We're gonna edit that part out.
Oh, you were giving me heart palpitations.
Your
Honestly,
face, you're like,
no, honestly. Put it this way, Nina, let's be honest, even if he was coming to Melbourne, me and trying to get tickets is like me trying to see an eclipse where it's cloudy. So I had so many problems with Coldplay, so many problems with Lady Gaga. I mean, Lady Gaga, Hilary Duff as well.
really?
Someone posted a video and it was like over 100,000 people waiting in line. And I'm like,
wow.
Can you imagine Bad Bunny?
Yeah. That place was
Popular
packed.
man.
Yeah.
That's a festival. That is bring 10 bottles of water. That is stay hydrated, but also near the toilet. That's what that circumstance is. When I saw the video, I was like, damn, I am so happy for him. All the support, but also I can just imagine myself in that big crowd. I'd be like, let's stand near a place where I can also evacuate if I need to.
Yeah. Have a diaper on.
It's a lot of people. There were videos of people who had actually collapsed, like fainted.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
But because, especially with one particular video, one poor girl did, but security couldn't get to her, I think, because of where she was. But I don't know what was going on. But it would have been hot. It would have been all those people and just all the energy and so but just a lot of joy too in those videos, a lot of joy. So good for those that went. Kudos to you. Thank you for posting your videos.
He's coming to Germany in June or July, but it's sold out. So it is what it is.
Well, Bad Bunny, if you see this, hey, I'd like to go to Germany. Take me up. I'm kidding.
You can go with him. Like pack your bags, and once he leaves Australia, you can fly off to Europe as well.
Fine with me. I'll even stay in economy. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So I think maybe we should announce
animals.
Or in a plane with animals? What?
The transport planes that have actually, I'm thinking of it like a movie. I don't know if it's real life, but there is a particular movie where there's a transport plane and there's animals on the plane and like other like packages and shit. I would just be on that plane. If not, I'll take that plane just to get to you. I'll take whatever.
Should we buy you a crate?
Yeah. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. It's like just start playing that song as I'm on my journey. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
I don't think you understood my question, Ash. I asked, do you want me to get you a crate?
Yeah. I feel like
you want to be with the
would be a better option.
Oh,
honestly, I'll take whatever, but just poke some holes in it because claustrophobic may become a reality.
Yeah. I won't wrap you up like a mummy.
Break the pencil. Well,
to maybe get into, hi guys, how are you? If you haven't seen already. Hi, if you haven't.
I've talked about music. I'm pretty damn satisfied. I just discovered a new Italian opera singer, so I'm pretty damn happy.
Italian. He's from New York.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. I'm still excited about his voice. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you guys haven't heard of him, please check him out. He makes beautiful music. But if you haven't seen already, which you should have, because it was, do you have eyes? Did you see? But did you catch that? If you guys know where that's from, you're golden. Anyway, welcome to our new segment that Ashley has so perfectly curated and named and designed. So please welcome to the What in the Daily Humans, a new and improved, upgraded model in the year 2026 to bring ultimate performance to us viewers, well, we are participators, to you viewers, in the year of madness, it seems. But yeah, we have had the segment before of what's in our TikTok collections. We wanted to open it up a little bit more, and the lovely, beautiful lavender rose Ashley has decided to create this wonderful new segment. So, a round of applause.
It purely came from this is the truth. It just came from the fact that I just wanted to take TikTok out and put our thing into it, because our videos now come from different places too. Well, not our videos. The videos that we see for the topics that we talk about comes from other places. So
yeah,
make it our own, because it is our own.
Yes, you did a
Not
great
fully,
job.
but
for legal purposes, not fully.
Always got to put the disclaimer.
No.
The thumbnail and what you see at the start, 100% ours.
Yes.
The conversations, collective.
Yes.
Remember that. Collective.
Yes. That is essentially what the segment has always been about, is talking about current affairs, things going on within social circles, or in, like in a more social way or political way or whatever way, in technological, gender-based, whatever may be the topic of discussion, but to just open it up and broaden it more and have the conversation amongst ourselves and hopefully with you guys as well.
No matter what it is, whether it's Benedict's thruples from Bridgerton, or the AI of Stranger Things, or Italian opera singers who are not actually Italian. Everything and anything.
Yes.
We've got some lined up for you today.
We do. We have a lot. I was going to say that I actually really think the fact that we talk about music and media as much as we do, like movies and films and stuff like that, movies and TV shows and stuff like that, and music is hilarious. As like we could just go off like the whole episode.
100%. Just love it. We did do an episode about music once, just about music. So that's how much we love it, to the depth core of love. Just to say this quickly before we start, I need to send you a new artist that I found. I feel like you would love it.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I needed to say this.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget.
I won't.
All right.
I will not.
Well, we have a lot in store for you, just as Ashley has stated. And just as we have kind of discussed, I think a little bit, either amongst ourselves or on the podcast as well, AI, the beautiful world of artificial intelligence that is infiltrating our lives, whether we like it or not. Ashley, what are your thoughts on AI? Just before we get into the deep end of it, how do you feel about artificial intelligence?
Well, like the many things that human beings have released, just another one of those things that human beings have taken and morphed through the numerous levels of inhumanity that is within our humanity. So it doesn't surprise me. It really just doesn't surprise me. So it's just another thing that was invented, created, put out into society without boundaries. And look what has happened. What more can you say with that apart from not surprised? Not surprised that people create deepfakes and put the images of people's faces onto fake photos. And I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but pornography.
It's gone. That meme. No, I think, I mean, we've talked a little bit about AI before on our podcast as well. But I think
Mm,
for me, the creme de la creme recently was when the internet has been here and there and few and far in between. Mercury retrograde, here we go, but when it came back, I was on the app store. I was looking for an app, and an ad came up about, I'm not going to say the name, but let it was a search engine AI based on tracking people or finding people based on their photo, their name, their address, phone number, things like that, that you could just enter into the AI system and do deep searching through the internet. And I think that coupled with, I'm not going to get into this particular subject, with like meta glasses and how women have been secretly filmed and followed and stalked, like, and then you have facial recognitions, right? And that whole thing, that push by the government, where every single website you have to identify yourself as of age by putting a picture of yourself into the system, where God knows how it's going to be redistributed. That coupled with now, and this is the main subject of today, AI videos put off as real, made to look very real, are not, in fact, real, and put online. We've talked about Sienna Rose before. Ashley, you have. And where she's like, I'm not AI. What are you talking about? We're also talking about people who are creators on TikTok, who are in their homes filming videos, and then they see themselves in an ad somewhere with either a different face or their face on something they've never agreed to be a part of, where either their homes get taken as a background to an AI video or their face gets taken to something. And again, no laws quite yet. With deepfakes in the UK now, we do have a law that says you can't take real people's faces and put them on, these porn videos, photos, etc. That is illegal now and will get you in jail. But how long is it going to take to enact that? How long is it going to take to find people who do that? Can't, like, the internet is wide, and these people are there are many people who do this. So it's concerning. But yeah, Ashley, she has sent me a video the other day of a Chinese herbal practitioner, Chinese medicine man. And she was like, this is fake. This is AI. And I don't want to talk too much, Ash. I do want to get a word out. I feel like I've spoken like 500 years now. But it was shocking how
mm,
real he looked. And you spoke about it before, Ash, that you have to look at the minor details of these videos.
mm,
And the only thing that, like, I was made aware of through the comment section was like the shortcuts in the video. There were really shortcuts in between certain things that this person, quote unquote, was saying, but they were in fact not real. And so my question is, people who are maybe not as educated with AI, who are visually impaired, who have maybe not the capacity to always fact check for whatever reason. How are we going to be able to navigate this place online, which I mean, it is a warfare, for lack of a better word, but how are we gonna, like, if the entire internet is filled with fake people and fake circumstances and fake environments, how are we gonna know what's real at all anymore? Yeah, you take the mic, my friend, if you have something to say. I'm sure you do.
mm. Cute. The only thing I really can say about AI, obviously these conversations are numerously had and valid too, but I guess the way that I want to come at it is I'm just curious in a society that has advanced itself. Firstly, and I think I did say this on the last episode, I guess, could have been brought into society for the betterment of human beings. But my first question is, why use water?
Mm.
Why use water? That's my first question. Knowing the continuous things we see on the news talking about oh, save water, we're in a drought. Okay. I'm sure you would have had the acknowledgement, the awareness in your mind about that. So you made AI run on water, the very thing that we seem to have a lot of issues with. That's my first thing, right? Second thing is, why? How could you not think that when you put it out to the collective, knowing what you see on the news, knowing the amount of statistics out there that talk about child abuse and child porn, things like that that have been created, how could you put it out with no boundaries, with no laws, with no structured systems in place to protect?
Yeah.
It's almost like just another thing. This is how I'm interpreting it. I'm okay to be wrong, but this is what I'm saying. It's like they just put it out there without a single give a crap about what happens to it and how people can take it and construct their own versions of what they want and desire with it, which is what people have done.
Yeah.
They've created fake videos of scenarios, put it online, and everyone is obviously expressing their empathy until they realize that it's fake.
Yeah.
Even the who you were talking about, when I saw that video, he was talking about cortisol, and
Mhm.
people in the comments were asking general health questions. And I instantly caught the fakeness of it. And that's not like, oh my God, I can tell. Sometimes I can't, but it's always something feels off with it. I always
Mhm.
go by the feeling and the intuition of what that video is giving out. I just sit there and I think though, the oh God, the vegetable thing that, well, it's actually vegetables, fruits, many things. What Taylor and I were talking to you about, the
Mhm.
screaming fruit and that's funny. Like someone created comedy out of it. But that side of it is not as common as what is currently happening right now, which is people are using it to dehumanize in every possible way that they can. I'm just curious on the mindset of the people that create these things and put it out there, knowing
Mm.
even if you only know a small amount of what is happening within humanity, you would know that small amount of what people can possibly do with this stuff. That's where I'm coming at it with this conversation. I think AI, maybe it could help in numerous ways, especially for people who have a disability. I can see where it can help. 100%. I can see where it could help humanity, but just the way that we do things, I just no thought, no thought in mind, or maybe no care. Maybe
Mm.
that's the thing. There's no care because it's just maybe there's something to gain, and there always is in some form something to gain when this stuff is just put out there. I couldn't uh, invent something for humanity without having the proper structures in place to protect it, but not even just protect it, to mostly protect the human beings that it's for, knowing that there are human beings in this world that do not have good intentions. You do what you can, obviously. I don't know if it's possible to fully control every aspect of it. I don't know. But I know that if something does happen, you jump on it so quickly to terminate anyone from doing it again. That's
Yeah.
kind of the thing, right? Is if something happens and you're made aware of it, why isn't the law immediately put in play? Why
Mm.
does it take so freaking long? No one should be able. Oh, dumbfounds me a little bit. I'm normally the person that doesn't do the whole, why wouldn't you think this way? Or why wouldn't you have planned ahead? I don't normally do that. But in this case, I do ask the question, how can you not have looked at the bigger picture when you're putting something like this out into humanity? that's really all I can say about it is what is being done with it just doesn't surprise me. And all we can do as individuals is look out for the signs and block or put not interested if you
Yeah.
come. That's what I've been doing with some of them on social media, because I've seen a lot come up on my For You page. It's like not interested, not interested, block,
Yeah.
especially the ones that are dangerous. I'm going to say
Mhm.
dangerous, talking about health or
Mm.
mental health or something to do with the political, what's happening out there at the moment. Just
Mm.
automatically block, because I know you're just putting out bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with your question as to why people don't think and develop laws as it's happening is because it's like a race against time for these people. And there
Mm.
is the name has escaped me, so I apologize, but there is a documentary of some sort coming out that talks about this, about AI and what we're heading into. And essentially, what's been discussed is that all these creators who've made AI, the different companies and such, don't expect their children to be able to meet high school age because of the rate that this technology is going and how dangerous it can be to human life and resources, obviously. Um, but a lot of people have this mindset within the tech industry of like, we have to do it first, otherwise this other country is going to have it, they're going to
Oh.
control it,
Mm.
and they're going to be in power. And so again,
Yeah.
it's like this imperialistic mentality of like, so it's just about control. That's the only
Mm.
reason that this is happening, and it's disgusting. If I may even bring up there was a video. If you guys haven't seen it, if in case you have and you haven't had a resolution to this yet, there was a video, quote unquote, captured of a woman in Canada who was seen and stopped by this guy, filmed on Meta glasses, and it was apparently somebody who looked very much like Ghislaine Maxwell. And people were outraged, and there were a lot of discussions going on. Even I was fooled. There were just a lot of discussions going on about, oh my God, is she out in Canada? It wouldn't even surprise me, blah, 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 blah. It was AI. The creator had said it was AI. And the only reason it was cleared up very quietly, by the way, was not the creator of the video did not come out and say, hey guys, this is not real. They just simply talked to a follower of theirs. They commented under one video that it wasn't real, and the creator liked it. And that was weeks deep into this video circulating online spaces. So you have that. And then right now, with what's happening war wise in Iran, people are now making fake AI videos of like, I am so frustrated. They're making fake AI videos about US military machines, flights and jets and all that shit being shot down and places being bombed. And it's disgusting. And also, if I may bring this into it as well, in film, now we're talking about AI actors, we're talking about AI musicians, and people in the industry. There's one particular person that I'm thinking of. If you've been online and you have researched this thing, you know who it is. I'm not going to mention their name. It's just utterly disappointing that he himself is standing for it and is pioneering the way and making statements of, well, this is the only way, how this is the future, AI is the future, this is just what the movie industry, music industry, et cetera, needs to finally get on board with. And the thing is, like, if you're not advocating for human rights, if you're not advocating for arts, if you're not advocating for transparency, your entire worldview, your entire sense of self, your exposure and relationship to other human beings will completely shift in the near future, because of AI, because of how things, when people are in power, can control the narrative. Because it's not for the people. AI is not there for the people. it may help some people occasionally, sure. And, you can make funny videos, you can help people who are disabled. I think there is a lot of things that AI can do to help humanity, just like you said yourself. But if it's controlled by the very people oppressing you, what do you think the most likelihood is of it actually helping humanity? It just, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cap it off here, and I'm just going to, you know, hopefully it's going to be taken care of, and there might be laws and protection in place. I don't know, but I'm just massively disappointed.
It'll be taken care of when human beings start to take accountability and responsibility for who they are.
Yeah.
Because seriously, I can't fathom releasing something like this without just continuing to try and make sure that this space is safe for human beings. Continue to try.
Yeah.
Even if certain things fail. It's just the point of trying. I don't know if you saw this video, but a CEO actually made a statement that he is excited to fire employees because AI does not ask for a pay rise. And this is true. This actually happened. And again, I'm not surprised, and you'll hear me say that a lot, but it is disappointing because the ripple effect of something like this is if you don't physically see it yourselves, it's there. When someone decides to make a decision like that, who does it affect? It affects the individual working in your company. And then who does it affect after that? Their family.
Mm-hmm.
And it just affects the children, it affects every human being that's a part of it. It is so self-created, that is built in destruction, that every time I see a statistic that is talking about human health, I automatically go to what's being created and the effects that this is having. We see it as something that's not that deep. It is that deep. It always has been that deep. Every single thing that's been put out, even one of our topics that's coming up, sorry, two of them that's coming up, is relevant to this discussion on what someone else created, what it has affected, what it has done to so many people who were involved.
Yeah.
AI is affecting, I don't even think I can put a number to how many people have been affected by AI. Actually, let me say this, affected by the human beings that have taken AI and done what they've done to it.
Yeah.
I'll say that instead. It's human beings at the end of the day. Human beings.
You have AI building other AI models, learning how to lie and evade responsibility because of the very people that programmed it. Then you have AI deepfake videos online on social media pretending to be real human beings. And then when it gets called out, says they're not human beings. Then you have bots that are AI in comment sections. And when you pair that with healthcare, health advice, oh my God,
How
that's
could
a
you create
catastrophe.
bots
Yeah.
to comment in people's, see, now I'm pissed off. We're all pissed off. How could you do that? How could you create bots to comment negative projections towards people? And then how dare you talk about mental health? It actually pisses me off. It does nothing to make this entire system so much more unstable than it already is. Mind you, the system's not broken. And I'm changing that narrative because I used to say this too. It's not broken. It was created this way. And people keep adding to it, and just it continues to keep it destabilized. Honestly, how dare you create bots to comment projections like that and then talk about bullying? We really do make this human experience hell for each other. I can't fathom it. Living in this existence and creating shit that harms other human beings and being totally fine with it because I get to live my luxurious life and I get to have all these things that I want and I don't have to suffer or go through survival because I am gaining from the inhumanity that I'm putting. It's just Like, wow to the people that do this stuff. Just wow.
And the thing is, like, it's not even about the money. Because, like, if you're on top that far and you have that much power, money is inconsequential to you. It means absolutely nothing. So, what is it that you're looking for? Reputation, power, control, admiration from other people who are just as shitty as you? I don't get it.
Enjoy
But
it. Maybe enjoy seeing a flooding amount of negative bots just projecting away and making comments like even recently a politician in Australia made a comment that people who pass by suicide, this politician equated it to attention seeking. And there were bots in the comment section that was like, oh, but is he wrong though? He's speaking the truth. And people were commenting bot, bot, bot. Like you could tell the
yeah,
same shit. And I'm thinking, and I'm sitting there just raging
yeah,
inside, thinking, wow, all this advocation, all this talk of trying to help people, trying to get people into more regulated positions, and you go ahead and you create this. And you know what? It's going to get me started. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Even the whole conversation of wanting people to be more within society, productive, working, all that shit, the more you destabilize people's mental health, they cannot show up to the spaces that you are telling people, enforcing people to be a part of, especially when you keep creating shit that hammers them down. You keep people in survival. What do you expect? The reaction and the responses is going to be through survival. We keep creating shit that pushes human beings further down and makes it harder to actually get out of bed, because that is all that there is when you go on social media. Even when you go outside and people are projecting on each other, they're projecting from that space of validation. They're projecting from survival. And where does that come from? Where did the ripple effect of that come from? The creation of what human beings have created. This infuriates the expectations for human beings to show up while you create things that make it 10 times harder to show up. You can't have regulation when you keep creating dysregulation. My geez.
yeah.
I need a drink of water
Absolutely.
from my Aries rage.
No, it's true. It's
About
absolutely
star
true.
signs.
How about we move on to the to the next topic?
Yeah, one of the other two, like both of them are going to ignite us as well. Like, come on, especially
Yeah,
probably the last one.
yeah.
My jeez.
So let
This
me
next
ask
one
you.
though.
This is the perfect question to ask of this conversation. Actually, what is the biggest red flag that you've ever ignored?
Oh, well, technically, I mean, I actually wanted to start this off with you, but I love
Oh,
how maybe you thought, you know what, I'm going to flip it. And that's fine. I'll accept that.
no,
But
I will
I
say
feel
this.
like, yeah,
Before you begin,
yeah.
this video I want to introduce it real quick is essentially a woman being stopped by the street by an interviewee of a channel or a show. I'm not 100% sure. Being asked this question, and it sparked the curiosity between us. So if you don't want to go first, it's okay. Just let me know.
No, I think actually you should go first, my friend. You can take the lead.
That's fine. I can do that. Well, I thought it was really beautiful what the woman in the video spoke about because I could relate, and in turn, she said, I will be paraphrasing because my memory ain't like that, honey, anymore. I am 85, going on 100. Anyway,
Look at you.
um, yeah, I'm before my time. I'm before. I don't know what that means,
Are
but
you a
anyway,
witch? Are you a witch? A
I
sorcerer?
am.
A wizard? Okay, I'll shut up.
Gotta keep it on the low. We can't
I
in
hear it.
today's
I hear
day
it.
and time. We cannot be calling ourselves witches.
That's what we just said. Pretend we didn't say it. All of you. Woo, abracadabra or bibbity bobbity boo. All that jam.
Um, she spoke about how she always desired to be chosen, which in turn created the dynamic within her relationships where she would give herself completely to the people that she loved, whether in friendship or romantic relationship. And she always expected that same heart in return. However, when she didn't get that, she made the realization that oftentimes she was just waiting to be chosen by somebody to essentially heal aspects of her former self. And I could definitely relate to that because I can't even, I'm pretty sure I've said it to you, Ashley, a billion times, where I don't understand how you can give your all to people. You can be honest, you can give your best, you can, it doesn't even matter what relationship it is. You can show up every single day, do the best you can with what you have to offer that day, and still be treated like trash or be disposed of or be treated badly if that person deems to not like whatever it is they don't like or just project that particular day. And it is something that I've always kind of struggled with. However, to go back to the question, what's the biggest fact that I've ignored? I would say, I don't know if this is a biggest fact I've ignored in other people. And I don't know if I can call it a red flag within myself, even. But it's something that I've learned is that you, first of all, cannot save people. People save themselves. I've discussed this many times before. You can give your best, you can give your all. You can be a good person, a good friend, a good coworker, a good partner, a good family member, whatever. But you are not responsible for what another person wants to do, is willing to do, is capable to do, and whatnot. And I think in a lot of, I'm going to go real deep, tap in. This is therapy session 101. I and this realization came after a lot of time reflecting, even up until recently. But I think I used to go into meeting people that were hurt and wanting to show them something different, wanting to save them because inadvertently I was trying to heal the parts of myself that knew what it was felt like to be in that position, that knows what it feels like to be in that position. And I don't think that that is inherently a red flag, but what is a red flag is that it's that mentality and my very strong perseverance, because I'm very stubborn. If we're talking astrology, I have a Taurus moon, honey. If I want something, I'm gonna get it. My undying loyalty to people um, came at the detriment of myself. And that to me is a red flag. I stayed in dynamics where people disrespected me, hurt me, showed me exactly where I stood to them, did things, said things that I would never do and have never done. And I always dismiss, oh, no, they didn't mean it. No, they didn't. Oh, no, 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 no. I must have just misunderstood because they're a good person. There's a quote, and I don't know who said it, but when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I think it's Maya Angelou, and I love her. She's my role model. When people show you the first time who they are, believe them. And I didn't. I didn't believe them. I didn't believe myself, my own intuition. And I was like, if I was in a difficult situation, let's say within a friendship or something, and the friendship was always great, but now we're having several years of just rough patches. I'm the type of person, or I was the type of person that was like, we're gonna get through it. We've been friends, we're gonna get through it. This person is, my friend, and we're connected, and we have this deep rooted thing, and we have so many things in common. But the thing is, people change. People change in relationships. You change. People grow up, people evolve, and then there are some people that don't, that remain the same. And yes, there can be rough patches within any type of relationship in life. However, if you are on the regular in a space of feeling so utterly depleted and depressed, and like an elephant is sitting on your chest, that I would say is not normal. That is, I would say, a red flag, a concerning thing to find in any kind of dynamic between you and another individual. Because if that is the regular and that becomes the normal, what makes you think that you're ever going to get out of that? I understand forgiveness. I understand wanting to work on things, but you can't be the only person working on something. And that's where I've always found myself, where it's like I gave my all. Even with massive disrespect shown to me on the regular, I was still willing to work on the connection, on the relationship, on the tie, when that person has done absolutely nothing to invest right back into the relationship, or even me, myself. So it's like, first, you I know it is completely human to want to be chosen, to want to be seen, to want to be heard and loved, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot, I can't even say that. No, I wanted to say you cannot fulfill your trauma in another human being, but I don't believe that either, because we heal with one another. But don't ignore when you're being disrespected. Don't ignore when you're feeling uncomfortable. Don't ignore your intuition. Don't put aside. If I can tell you one story real quick, I'll hand it off to you. And this is kind of the perfect example. When I was a kid, I had a quote unquote best friend. We weren't the bestest of friends, but she was the friend I had in school. This is middle school. And obviously, if this person ever comes across this video, no shade. I'm not naming any names anyway. But I we went separate ways in terms of like what school we were going to, because our school was kind of eradicating and switching into two different schools. I went to one, she went to another, and so we didn't see each other on the regular. There was a school dance that was going to take place, I think in 7th grade or something like that, and I was going to go all the way to that particular school dance to just hang out with her and a couple other friends that I lost in the process of me moving, and then also the school dissolving, um, the original school dissolving. I went there, we talked, we had a nice time. Majority of the time, she spoke to other people. And then one time, while somebody was on stage, I think the DJ or something announcing something, I was talking to her. I guess she didn't like it, because she all of a sudden turned around and slapped me in my face in front of the entire school. And I stood there shocked. And her friends looked at me shocked. I did not know how to react, because obviously my first response is anger. How dare you? But also, this is my friend. I can't slap my friend. That's not in my capacity. So that boundary is there, where it's like, if it were anybody else, I would beat that person. But because this is quote unquote my friend, I can't. And so I stood there for the remainder of this freaking dance, and I had to live with getting slapped in the face by a person that I thought I was very close to. And if I could go back, I would change many different things. But I was young and I was naive, and that's not a bad thing. But that goes to show you cannot consider a person that just slapped you in the face a friend. A friend wouldn't do that. A friend wouldn't treat you that way. So, biggest red flag I've ignored. Realize when people are no longer in your corner and walk away when you do. Don't ignore your inner voice. Finish.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, the person that
I can see it on your face. You're so pissed.
oh, the person that did that, I hope you've gone through a lot of internal change. And if you
War.
feel like that it resonates and you want to reach out and apologize, you really should. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
It's not a purpose to intimidate. It's just expressing my disapproval with your behavior.
Yeah. I see fire
On
in your
no
eyes.
planet. On no planet is that valid at all just because someone was talking. And if you didn't want someone to continue to speak in that moment or whatever the hell it was, doesn't validate laying hands on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. That was pretty good though, because it resonates to a lot of people. I think the need to be chosen,
Mm.
the need to be seen. But if I may add as well, um, being, how do I want to say it? Being chosen by someone by one thing that you've, I'm trying to think of how to say this. I think sometimes we allow people into our lives because they fill something that has felt amiss. They fill that one thing, but everything else is red flag galore, just full of red flags. But because they do this one particular thing, we validate their presence in our space. And even if so, they do so many other things that are good, but then they do these certain things that are not great. If you can't have the discussion with them about that behavior, human beings need to evolve. I'm just putting this little part in only because it's also something that I've been deconstructing and navigating through as well, is the feeling of needing to be seen, needing to be chosen, because of how it feels validating. It feels like you're finally being seen in the way that you want to be seen. But in realism, sometimes that can be an illusion, is what I'm saying, is that you're not actually being seen. Your presence is being used,
Oh
or
my
certain
God.
things are occurring in that space that people want to see if you'll tolerate. So that's, well, in accumulation with being used. It's just knowing the differences between someone who just sees you as a human and is willing to grow with that space compared to being chosen for an agenda, which it's a big learning journey, and that's okay. Let's learn for the betterment of our spaces. It's just not, I've said this to Nina, I don't like people doing things out of the feeling of obligation, right? It feels quite similar to just being chosen for something that you fill in their space. All of that doesn't hold for me this true presence of human, because how can things that are meaningful in the human experience grow within that? I just don't, I've never seen it. I've never experienced it happen. So you're just constantly looping through the same problems with this person. Nothing's changing because it's surviving off whatever they fill in one space of what you have wanted but have never gotten, you know? It's such a big thing to talk about. But that would be one of mine as well, would be looking to be seen, but not realizing that how you're being seen matters entirely, and how you're being treated matters entirely. So just someone looking at you and giving you the attention you've never had before and going, I'm going to give you my entire self now, and just giving them everything of you, your time, money, spending money on like expensive gifts, or doing all this stuff. And what's been shared is not a reality. There's no sharing. There's no, like, a balancing board. There's nothing like that. It's just you up here, come back down. And then this person's all the way down there benefiting off what you're allowing them to have. And I definitely resonate to that. I guess I'm going to say it for this segment, red flag, red flag. One of my red flags is treating people like they're prized possessions. And I still experienced that today. I still feel it. And I didn't roll my eyes in the way of like, oh, even though, sometimes I feel that way in truth. I rolled my eyes because obviously I say to myself, "Mm, why? Again, but also, why? It's not easy. I have no desire to pedestal anyone. I don't want to, but there's a survival system within me that does, because I was taught from a young age that you had to fight to be treated like a human, for
Mm.
people to validate your existence. And I learned that at a young age. So obviously, I always had to do things, loud things, to be seen. And I've shared certain stories about this. Like as a kid, I used to go to people's houses, especially certain family houses, and clean up the entire playroom.
Mm.
And mind you, it was a big mess. And I used to do that a lot and then say, look what I did. You know, I wanted to make life easier for you because they were telling their children to clean it up. So look, I've just helped you out and taken that off your shoulders. And it was consistently putting so much effort for people to actually acknowledge a child, for a child to actually be seen. And it's really devastating how many people, I'm sure many of you can resonate, how many of us as children had to feel like we had to go beyond the means for adults to do the bare minimum. Truly, the
Mm.
bare minimum. So as I got older, if people liked me, I'm not just meaning relationships, I mean in general, it would send me into a spiral of, okay, well, I've got to be careful what I say, be careful of what I do, don't be too vulnerable, even though that was hard. And people did see those sides of me. Don't do this, don't anything that I was taught that would scare people off or make them feel uncomfortable or not want to be around me, because I also couldn't tolerate people not liking me. That was a really hard thing for me to digest, is people not liking me. And I'm still deconstructing that, which is fine. It's a practice. I could still feel it at times. But when even when someone does something that I've never experienced before, like when Nina and I was moving in our friendship, she was doing things that I've never experienced before. And I felt the activation of, I need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I have to do all these things. I also have to make sure that I'm not acting this way or that way. Like I have to go to the extra mile to make sure that she's comfortable. So don't do anything that's going to make her uncomfortable. Don't say stupid things. Watch what you say. Watch how you act. The hypervigilance was spiked because I put Nina on a pedestal, and that's not fair to her, because then it's also holding unrealistic expectations. And also, I'm fine to admit that that part of you can also make you think things that are not actually happening, because it's there to protect you. The whole purpose of being hypervigilant for those that have complex PTSD, but also survival modes in general, is to keep you safe. So it creates unrealistic scenarios that aren't actually happening to try to keep you safe. So I would pedestal people, and then thoughts would come into my head like, oh, they're thinking this about you. Nina's thinking that about you. And I honestly told her stuff as we went on, where I'd say, Nina, like, do you hate me? And I was terrified to say that, because then in my head too, it's like I'm gonna annoy her with all of this. And she's going to think, oh, for God's sake, Ashley, I've told you so many times, like, you're fine. I expected her to also be annoyed by that. So I wouldn't say things at certain times. Like, that's how hypervigilant I would get. Every detail had to be seen. Every single, like, the smallest things I was hypervigilant on, because I didn't want to scare this person away. And I didn't want to be seen in a way that wasn't me. It's just constantly thinking about all these things. And it's not healthy for anyone, not just for yourself. It's not healthy for the connections that you have in your life. So treating people as prized possessions, unfortunately, comes a lot from abandonment and lack of love, lack of being seen in a healthy way, learning what that actually is, not a spotlight or a pedestal, just a human in the human existence, and you are a part of it. That's it. And that's what I'm practicing is don't pedestal, don't, this is not a prized possessions scenario. This is a human being in the human experience. That's it. And I knowing my morals and values, just keep practicing that. And if it is in alignment with this person, if we are in alignment, then it will be. If it's not meant to be, then it won't be. So it's continuing to deconstruct like years and years of that and create the new. And oh my gosh, I say this a lot, and I really do want to say this for any of us. There is just no reason to be so hard on ourselves with this stuff because, like I said before, it's not as if we were given maps or blueprints. And it's not as if we've lived other lives rather than this. We've always lived this way, but it is our responsibility what we do with it. So, yes, as well as the mistreatment of, people using you for, as like when you give them your full space and they do whatever they want with it. And on the other side, it's, treating them like prized possessions. So red flag here and red flag there. And we're all kind of, we're all carrying, I don't even like the red flag thing. We're only doing it for the thing. But I think we all have accumulated survival tactics that look like this or similar ways. And it's just about being aware of that. It's not about shame. It's just about you being aware that these are things that are not helping you or your connections. That's that.
And if I can also add,
Mhm.
in healthy relationships, forming healthy relationships after either not having them be role model to you, it is more than okay to ask for reassurance from the people that you care about, whether it be in any dynamic in terms of, are we okay? These are the feelings that have been coming up for me. I just wanted to vocalize them to you because I want to essentially clear it up and let you know how I've been feeling and the things that have been coming up in my brain, and let you know so that we can talk about it, and not so I can feel better, but essentially for you to let me know where I stand in this relationship with you. And
Yeah.
you asking, Nina, do you hate me? You can ask that a billion times if you want to. I know that that is part of the healing process, and I know our brains can go against us. And I think more than anything, I'm just really sad that so many people have to experience what it's like to go through this, because it comes from a lack of proper, I don't even want to say parenting, because it's not just on the parents, it's on society as a whole. And I think it's interesting that you said, kind of like putting people on a pedestal, because I think a lot of people nowadays also value items over people more. So they devalue humans,
Mm.
but appraise physical possession, material possessions.
Yeah.
But in turn, what you did and what you're actively doing, and what I choose to do as well, is we choose ourselves first. And then
Yeah.
from that space, we can move and recognize who actually is choosing us back, and not
Mm.
just, please give me this thing that I really really need, because without you I can't make it, I'm gonna disappear. It's like, no, I know who I am, I know what I need. And even when it gets heavy and confusing and difficult at times, these are the few things that I know I really require. And then the people that show up in that way, and the people that invest back into you, you're able to kind of recognize that a little bit more without the, like I said, the illusion of how great this
Mm.
person is. So yeah, very
It's really
deep.
hard. Well, I mean, let's be honest, the human experience does go deep, and a lot of people unfortunately have experienced abandonment, and we naturally within that, we are drawn to certain spaces that look like it's going to fill that when it doesn't. It's just, it's like it's like someone AI deep faked it or created something that looks like it's going to bring you a space of finally having a home instead of a house. And I have to say, because it does like deconstructing it, that it's less with you and more with other people. Like when they send certain messages, if it sounds a certain way, it activates within me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my God, they're mad at me. Was I too happy? Was I too like excited?
Mhm.
And it actually is pretty debilitating in one way, shape, or form because you're so activated by so many things. And obviously it's a current thing that's happening with me right now. So I understandably am feeling a lot from it, but it's pretty debilitating to
Can
live a
I
life like this.
can I say
Yeah.
one thing? Maybe this can
Yeah.
help. Even if somebody else is irritated by something you said or did, that doesn't mean that you have to adjust. You're more than free to
Mm.
be excited, to be happy. Cause like I know what that's like personally speaking when you get really excited and the person is just like, okay,
Mm.
or like you get a weird text whether that is the truth of what that person is projecting or not, it doesn't mean that you have to dim your light, that you have to adjust for that person. It's okay to be
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
And if it's too much for a person, then either they're not right enough for you, but it doesn't mean that you have to be less.
Mm. Yeah, it's teaching your system the safety in knowing that you can't control their responses nor how they. Because the other thing that I'm also reminding myself is that this is not, it's not just, it's not about me. Other people are having a human experience too. So sometimes their responses are in alignment with what's happening in their lives,
Yeah.
and you're just not in the mood to add some joy to a text because of what's happening in your own life. So
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's, it's a lot of work. And I'm saying this from feeling. I'm not saying this like it's so difficult that we can't do it. It's just I have my moments where I'm like, wow, this is a lot of work. But it's reminding yourself and practicing to understand that survival can be very much I'm not going to say self-centered, not that, but very much like the spotlight is constantly self and you're convinced that everything that is happening is against you. And obviously that can trickle into narcissistic tendencies and that, but I'm not going in that direction. I'm going in the direction that it can convince you that certain things, that people are saying certain things about you. Like, especially if you're hyper vigilant about your body and a bunch of people look at you, your first thoughts can be they're talking about my body. They're seeing my body because you yourself are in the state of hypervigilance when it comes to yourself and how you feel about the way you look, right? And then that projects it externally and can convince you that everyone is looking at you in the same way. It's like your own internal projection of it is happening all around you. Like you're witnessing it in every space. But as I've learned, that's not the case in many ways. Yeah, there have been some experiences where that has happened personally, yeah, but there's been a lot of times where that has not been the reality. And it's my system being so activated that it's like I've got to protect you because they're thinking a certain way and you need to prep yourself, put up your guard, get ready. If you need to fight them, then here we go. But automatically like the shutters go up or the walls go up or something and protection mode kicks in and you're just walking through the rest of the day with a protection guard up because you've been activated. It is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. But deconstructing makes it less exhausting. Over time, you will feel valid to be, to feel this way, like I'm saying, but also it is better to be moving in the space of less walls and more observant, more aware, more realizing that what has happened throughout your life, that image, it's not overshadowing your current reality, even though it looks that way in so many ways. It's also by the choices that we make and the people that we are around. They can also keep feeding that image. And that's another discussion within itself. But self-reflection is very much worth it.
Yeah.
There's a lot within all of that.
You spoke about it perfectly, though, and I'm glad that you spoke about your experiences as well, even with the emotions coming up. Did a great job. You're a great role model.
Human 101.
Yes.
Hard journey. I will cry with you all through it. We can sit here as like a community, have our therapy session and talk about the absolute difficulties of it, while also acknowledging that this path is better than being totally convinced that everyone on the planet hates you. Like, I can't imagine looking at Nina and constantly thinking, like, she definitely is writing bad shit about me behind the scenes.
Not at
She's
all.
messaging all these people going, ah, la, la, la. I literally would rather face it than live in that kind of bubble, that world.
And honestly, it's exactly the opposite. I would write people about talking to them about how wonderful you are and how amazing you are and how much I love you and how talented you are. So there you go. I'm the opposition.
I would go talk to that former friend of yours and have just a very nice conversation.
Yeah, very nice, very polite. Oh. All right.
Yes. Well, let's bring in the next segment because why the hell not?
Yes. Why don't you introduce it, my friend?
So there was a social experiment done where they had a pink room and a blue room, right? With pink toys and blue toys. And it was, girly toys and then boy toys, right? So they let the girls into the blue room and the girls played with everything. They brought the boys in there and they played with everything in the blue room. In the pink room, the girls played with it, obviously, but the boys were not having it. So when I saw that video, I thought this would be a good discussion to have because essentially in the pink room, obviously everything was pink, but they were Barbie dolls, all the things that are considered for girls, right? And in the boys' room, the blue room, those toys were considered for boys. So I thought we should talk about this lovely little creation that human beings have created where this is a girl toy and this is a boy toy, and apparently colors equal to gender. Apparently colors mean gender. So that's really interesting that we did that we said, you know what, pink is for girls and blue is for boys. And I mean, it's interesting because Nina's wearing blue today. So I'm just like a little confounded by this real obsessive need for blue to be assigned to boys and pink to girls.
I feel like I have been born for this very particular discussion because from birth I was not regular. I was outside of societal norms and constraints, and I was a rebel since I was a baby, which is why I got taken out of my mom's belly. I did not go willingly. They had to pry me out via C-section. But no, I love this discussion because it, first off, before I get into anything personal, it reminded me of the study that they did a few decades, a decade ago, maybe. I don't think it was any time recent. I definitely think this was a while ago, where they put white kids and black kids into a room and they made them play with dolls. And they wanted the black girls to play with the black dolls and the white girls to play with the white dolls, and then see the different reactions amongst the races. And a lot of the kids said that happened to be Black, that they didn't want to play with a Black doll because it was quote unquote ugly. And that was such a heartbreaking thing to see on video. And then to watch the video that you sent me, Ash, about boys being put into this pink studio or pink room and they didn't even want to sit on the pink chair. Or there was another boy that's like, my mom doesn't want me to play with stuff like that. And it's interesting because and this is how it hones back to me and my personal experience. When I was a kid, I was very much a tomboy. I still have my tomboy flare-ups occasionally, but I very much liked blue. And in the early 2000s, as a girl, was surrounded in schools by pink ballerinas who just wanted to be a little bitty tiny ballerina. And I was the blue wearing, mud digging, because I like bugs. Can't relate now. I don't know what was wrong with me. But I like bugs. I like dinosaurs. I like cars. I liked buying boy shoes when I was a kid because they were looking cooler than the girls were. All the girl shoes were white and pink. Pissed me off with flowers on them. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't like that. I got into a fight with my mom about it at one point as well. And it's just when I was in school, and I think I've shared the story before, but if I haven't, I'll make it quick. I went to a Catholic school for a certain amount of time when I was a kid here in Germany, and there was a boy who wore pink, a pink shirt, and he always had rumors in school going about his sexuality, if he's gay or not. And this is with kids that are in fourth grade, third, fourth grade, very, very young. Where other kids are suspecting if a kid is gay. Very strange that those conversations happen that early, but alas, they did. And he would play with Barbie dolls, and he would wear pink. And the boys wouldn't really like him. There would be rumors about him in school. I always wanted to meet him because, for me, as you know, I am a superhero in disguise. I have to meet everybody that's not quote unquote, societally aligned, because we must align with amongst ourselves and make a whole little clique. And I've been looking for him for weeks on end in this school because I wanted to be his friend, and I wanted to tell him that he was okay and that he's wonderful just the way he is, and he can do whatever the hell he wants to do with his life. Alas, I was in Catholic school. And as you know, those are not very open-minded, typically, especially back in the early 2000s when I was a child and simply my skin color was an issue. But alas, one day I was out in the playground playing because my class had recess, and his dad came to school because I guess the kid brought something to school that he wasn't supposed to, quote unquote. And his dad dragged him out of that school. Like, I mean, dragged him out. And a lot of the kids were staring. A lot of the kids were commenting. I think the issue was the fact that he was wearing a pink shirt. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that was one of the issues. And the school deemed it as not appropriate. And his dad, the things that his father was yelling at this boy, and the little boy, he was like, yeah, but mom, she's okay with it. And he went in on him. And I remember standing there watching this, my heart breaking. It still breaks to this day. I've not forgotten that scene ever at any point in my life. And I remember just standing there, however old I was. And I remember looking up at the sky and I'm like, God, if you're real, I don't understand this. This can't possibly be you. And to this day, I have not changed my mind. But I was hoping, back then, a lot of celebrities in America, men, started wearing pink, and then the concept started changing in Germany, thus to now, well, I thought, people being a lot more open-minded about these things. You see men wearing pink shirts all the time, dress shirts, t-shirts, sweaters. It's not a big deal. However, I guess with this video that Ashley presented to me, it still very much is. These ideals are still being ingrained into children today, where I think it's very telling that girls can go into a blue room and play with the toys there and not complain like, that's a boy, that's blue. I don't no. But boys, they're being raised to see color as a gendered thing. It's color. It exists in the world. It's not based on a gender. Not everything has to be about your identity. Okay? Okay. You can pop off, queen.
Oh, what are you afraid of to associate pink with a man or a boy? I think that's the question, is where does the fear sit?
Mm.
And if it has everything to do with being quote unquote gay, if that's what you're connecting it to, well, the installment of fear with that throughout the generations, that's something I think is worth questioning, don't you think? We're in 2026. We needed to evolve. We needed to realize that um, I I never did understand, and I never will understand this idea that only heterosexual relationships are a reality in a human experience that has over 8 billion people, and we're all born different. We all have different likes and desires, and with everything that's available, I don't understand why in a non-linear experience there would be linear. I only like, men, and then women only likes no, women only like men, and then men only like women. I deconstruct, deconstruct. That's my first thing. Deconstruct this fear that has been passed down the generations, because that's one attribute to it. Why do you fear it? And you ask the question, because I've seen interviews about this, parents being asked. They say things like, well, my child won't be able to give me a grandchild. Or, you know, I won't be able to experience this. I won't be able to experience that. So it's coming from something that you think is amiss internally. It's coming from you, what you think you're missing out on with this. So that's all you.
Can I ask
Why
a
wouldn't
question?
you? Yeah.
Why is your worth based on your ability to reproduce in this society? Whether you're a woman or a man,
And get
I
married.
guess when you're a man now and you're gay, I can't have grandchildren. I can't see my grandchildren. What is wrong with you? Whatever. You can continue.
It's, as I've said before, this is just generational, projected values and morals on societal expectations. It's just an expectation
Mhm.
for you to fall in line with what has always been. I think that jilts people because it has changed, and they don't, because it's always been, people find it hard to see a world without it, to
Mm.
see their own lives without it. So if hearing that their child is gay, it automatically means, oh, I've just lost something that I've been brought up to see as such an importance in this society and something I want to experience. So somehow now that's all amiss. So then they go through this internal grief of, I've just lost this is gone. And then they blame and they project when really it is a self feeling. It is a self grief. It's a self thing that you have to process through. Some people have come out in interviews and said, I have felt this way, but I know that I need to reflect on this myself and I need to hold space for this myself. The grief of, a life that I pictured for my child not happening. And you might think, what does this have to do with color? It has everything to do with color because it connects to the reasons why people fear it and tell their children don't touch anything that is of that color. It is a part of this entire concept. And if you really you need to dig deep to ask why we hold so dearly to a color wheel and assigning it to a gender, assigning toys to a gender even. I mean, if you really think, well, I am going to go there. I don't really care. I'm going to go there. Girls being given baby dolls and kitchens and prams, a lot of the toys that are for children represent the patriarchal society that we've always been living in. To prepare boys for the tradie life, give them trucks, give them manly things, manly products. Of course, it's conditioning to fear something that doesn't need to be feared. How does it affect your life so substantially? It does not. You give it power to, yeah. But what are you giving it this power for? Why are we doing this? What is the end game? What is the goal? It's all self-created. The issues are self-created from an internal upheaval that people have not reflected on. Instead, they've turned outwards and says, "You're the problem. You people are the problem. This is the problem. That is the problem. The colors are the problem. The flags are the problem. The community is the problem." And it's like, no, it's what you feel in the loss that is the problem. It's what you internally feel that you're not willing to look at or take responsibility or accountability for that is the problem. To condition children to see toys as a gender thing, and you don't see that as a problem, even colors. Like I just said before, Nina's wearing blue. Why does it not matter when you become an adult? Why does it matter more when children are children? Is that because they're young and it's easy to condition them young?
Yes.
Yeah. But as an adult, though, there's no care factor that I wear blue. The neutral colors that are considered manly, I've worn them. I've worn men's clothing before because why the hell is women's clothing made so sheer?
By the
It's
way,
disgusting. Yeah.
one time I went to a store. I bought some things. I was standing in line, and there was a woman, a little boy standing in front of me. We were standing in front of the cashier, and I saw a hoodie that was on the men's side because it's always segregated, right? Men's side this way, women's side that way. I went over because it was a Batman hoodie. I loved it. I picked it up. I took it. The little boy was looking at me like I was an alien. He was like, and I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, little man, I can wear a man's hoodie. What are you going to say about it? But again, that lets you know it was so crazy for him to see a woman go to pick, it's a hoodie. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It's a hoodie. It's a piece of clothing. But it goes to show
Batman.
how deep rooted and long lasting this propaganda. I mean, it is. It's a propaganda piece. It's an agenda. It's a straight
Colors.
people agenda. Straight
Yeah.
people agenda.
I agree wholeheartedly. I agree. Because it's
Yeah.
not even just colors. It's superheroes. It's celebrities. It's anything that people like. People give it a gender. If you like
Yeah.
Batman, that's a man thing. Superman's a man thing. Wonder Woman is a man thing because of how she looks, apparently, which I find really interesting. That I've actually heard people say, well, Wonder Woman's for the men.
No. Also, this is adjacent to the superhero thing, real quick, but also based on gender, real quick on this discussion. And I really want you guys to think about this. So, if you only consider man and woman to be legitimate, right, and everybody else is just making shit up for attention, because that's always what people say, right? A special snowflake, quote unquote. Um, if you only consider that to be valid in society and the rigid societal expectations, pink for girls, blue for boys, uh, how do you identify a woman? How do you identify? What do you think makes a woman a woman? Let's talk about that real quick because I want to dismantle this for a second. Oh, she can give birth. Okay. She can give birth and she can make milk from her breasts and feed children. What about women who can't give birth? Are they less of a woman or more of a woman? What about women who can't produce milk to feed their babies? Are they less of a woman, more of a woman? What about women who had to get surgery because they have breast cancer? Are they less of a woman or more of a woman? And then when you start asking these questions, I want you to start realizing that, oh, maybe that it has nothing to do with the body that you're in or how you project on another individual on who they are based on what they appear as. And if you go into the world constantly projecting old ideals that are based on rhetoric and oh my God. I mean, I can't even say this has been like long lasting because there are so many ancient cultures who believe in the diaspora of gender, of identity. Like, I just don't understand why are we pushing this particular narrative? Because how are you going to tell somebody who they are and what they feel as and what their body should be or how they should appear in their body to the world? You have no right to do that. You have no right to teach even what you said, little boys, tradie job toys. So from early on, you're essentially enslaving their minds. That's what you're doing.
Mm. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get that
And
in.
that's the
I'm
point.
triggered
That's
right
the
now.
point. That's the point to keep a patriarchal capitalistic society is to continuously keep the same things that give that productivity market like a real hit, keeping men in the man positions and the woman in the woman positions.
Mm,
Isn't that the point for many human beings? They want things to be the way it's always been,
yeah.
right? So if we keep conditioning children to see their jobs in without even telling them that, you just give them the toys for it, and then you over time condition them to see this is what you're meant to do as a boy and this is what you're meant to do as a girl. So it's the programming that they've, I mean, I have spoken about it before, but in the 18th century, you know, pink was considered a high status color. It showed power, it showed wealth, right? So pink was worn, heels were worn by men.
Mm-hmm.
And then in World War II, you know, societal pressures were put out there that neutral colors was manly, you know, equals to your manliness. And I think to myself, again, just another human created thing. But what was the intention? What was the purpose to shift what was into this? To no longer see, I mean, even I will say, even to have a color be seen as wealth, like just let a color be a color, you know? But to take the validation of wearing pink, and even women wore blue
Mm.
as well, to take that and morph it into some sort of conditioning, negative conditioning as well, for people to have their place. Isn't that the point? For people to stay in their place, to keep that form of control going. If people start to fall off the productivity margins that they want to continuously keep people living in, if you start to question that, you're not falling in line with the way society is. And a lot of people, even though they might not admit it, they want society to be the way that it is, because the way that it is gives something to those people. As we're seeing with billionaires, as we're seeing with Hollywood, as we're seeing with what is currently happening, all of that was allowed to happen because they were in a time where it was so, it is still normalized, but they were in a time where it was so normalized that if you spoke out, you were met with so much projection and harassment and threats. So many victims were silenced because of how validated it was. And now you're seeing the deconstruction of all of it. You're seeing the uprising of something that never should have been normalized. Honestly, that should be happening for a lot of our systems within society, including this. We should be deconstructing it because the question is why? Why do we need something like this to exist within our society?
Mm.
What is the point? The point always comes from self, but you are not the universe. And honestly, the most validating part about the human experience is letting it be open. And honest, this whole colors to gender thing, there's nothing open about it. It's just born from suppression. And the point of it is to remain in suppression. And that's all I will say about the matter further.
I will say this. This also is in part of the conversation. Men, boys, as well, who are demonized for showing more feminine qualities, whatever that means. Who can't hold hands with friends, who can't show affection between friends without being deemed as gay or whatever, or you can't be this way, or if they talk more eloquently, oh, he must be gay. Like, I don't, what is wrong with being gay? What is wrong with being queer in general? What's wrong with being fluid? What's wrong with any of these things? What's wrong with being trans? Nothing. It is the idea. I think it is actually the most empowering thing to not fall within the diaspora of what people tell you to be. And I think that is essentially what triggers a lot of people at the end of the day, is that how dare you
Ooh.
not adhere to the very rules that I grew up in, that I had to suffer through? How dare you not adhere to the very things that I deem as rules to existence? Honey, there are no rules to existence. The people in
Mm-hmm.
power are doing whatever they want to do. So you might as well do whatever you want to do and wear pink and go out and wear blue if you're a girl, or be non binary. God forbid you don't identify. Oh my God. How could
Oh
they?
my God.
It's just a phase, honey. You'll meet a nice boy and you'll get married and you'll have children. There are a lot of people who don't want to have children, regardless of their gender or how they identify or who they're attracted to. Oh my goodness, nobody's having children, and yet AI is taking jobs. Who is gonna fill these jobs? AI is taking the jobs. But now we need more children to. I need you guys to read the Four Agreements because this has been spoken about in that book as well. And I cannot. The illusion that people are under of what life is quote unquote supposed to be is just that, an illusion. It's not real. Go live your life, go set your soul free, because none of this shit is empowering. It's devaluing
100%.
yourself.
I needed to find this. I needed to read it. And oh, your beautiful speech reminded me of the movie Cruella,
Yeah.
the newish one. Um,
Mhm.
there is a character in the movie where she goes into the shop and she meets Artie, I think their name is. I think. Yeah, Artie, that's right. And she's having a conversation with Artie and she says to Artie, "How does that look go on the streets?" Because Artie is wearing basically a how would you say it? Just non-conforming to society
Flamboyant.
then, just
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. And Artie says something because I was watching Cruella before while I was getting ready for the podcast. One second. Artie says, "I would like to say that normal is the cruelest insult of them all, and at least I never get that."
Wow.
Yeah. And
It
when I
is.
that was highlighted to me because I thought to myself, well, the entire like hyper obsession with normal and the image of that, it's so conforming, it's so suppressive. Look how many people are miserable with it. And that's what this is as well, is in combination with that. Why would we want to be suppressed to just neutral colors? I don't. I want color
Mhm.
because it brings me joy. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to stop you from wearing neutral colors. Go right ahead. It doesn't affect me. But what does affect me is being controlled and being told you can't wear this because of A, B, and C because that's not normal. Who are you to put what's normal? Whatever the hell that is. Who are you? Are you God? No. Even if God said that, I still wouldn't follow it. And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I would rebel. We're on this planet to live in the human experience. We are the only ones that suppress it to the small box that we give it. We are the problem with this stuff. It doesn't need to exist. It doesn't need to be reality. We don't need to condition children to see this way and suppress them into the same box. It just needs to end. It's just ridiculous.
Let little boys wear dresses. Let them have long hair. Let men be able to paint their nails and show affection to their friends and speak softly if that's what they desire, without questioning their gender or who they're attracted to or their morals or their value. And I wanted to say that earlier as well with the discussions we had prior. What do you seek value in, and why do you believe it is only in money? Why do you believe that value is only in transaction, in monetary capitalistic gains? Because there is value in expressing yourself, who you are in this world, in the colors that you wear, and how you feel, and how you treat people, and how you show up, and what you will and will not allow in your spaces, and what you will and will not allow as for who you are and how you go about living your life and interacting with the world. It's just, it's ridiculous. If you want to live in that box, go live in that box, but don't project that on other people.
Yeah. We don't want to live in that box.
Mm-mm.
That's
Our
right. Live in
world.
it yourself. Live in it yourself if you want that. Don't enforce other people to.
Yeah.
You don't get that upper hand. We're not putting you on a prized pedestal so you can do that. Red flag.
Red flag. Yes. It all connects.
It all connects. It's just one big matrix thing.
Yeah.
Or like this big awakening chart that I saw on TikTok, and it was like, I gotta show you it. Full of stuff. You've probably seen it around, but I'm gonna show you it.
Yeah, please do.
When you see it. Do we want to end here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, let me pause and let's talk about it. But I do think maybe we
No,
can
I agree.
end here. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Well, we've dived. I don't know. Past tense of diving.
Both. We can do both.
Doving. We doving into really deep discussions about different aspects of life. And genuinely, if you have your own experiences combating this or coming up against reactions like this, no matter who you are or how you identify, please talk about it. Because we would love to have the discussion with you guys as well. Like, this is so widespread and so deep rooted. And I want you guys to live colorfully and freely and love who you love and be who you are, because that is what you deserve.
Yeah. I'd also like to thank my nan up in the spirit world, because she loved the color purple so much. I'm telling you all, I should have taken a photo. That lady loved purple more than the sun loves its own color. She really loved it so much. And I don't see a lot of purple anymore. I really don't.
Yeah.
So thanks to her, I've got some purple, including this. This was my nan's as well.
Nice.
And I wear it with love and pride. So yeah, thanks, Nan, for bringing purple back into a society that's trying to eradicate it. Make everything grey.
My favorite color is purple as well. So, you know, connection.
One. See that? Do you see that?
I never want to be a weekend lover. Purple rain, purple rain. All right, guys.
I'm enjoying it.
Purple rain, purple rain.
If I had a candle, I'd light it and then sway with it right now.
A little lighter. Purple rain, purple rain.
Nina is touring November and December. Look out for the nearest tickets coming to you soon. And now keep singing.
I only want to see you dancing in the purple rain. All right.
Yes. Thank you all. Fellow humans, stay groovy. Until next time.
Bye bye.
Say la vie.